Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for coming today. My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm going to show you how to make this cute card. It comes together really quickly. There's very little waste. We're going to use a 6x6 piece of Designer Series paper. There's some embossing, ribbon, a little stamping, and it's a great way to make multiples, or if you're in a hurry and you need a card, I think you will really enjoy this. This video showing you how to make this card. So the highlight of the card is really the Sunflower 3D embossing folder. It is gorgeous, and there are so many things you can do with it. This is just one of the really basic ways you can use it, and I'm sure you can think of many others as well, and I will be playing with it over the course of the next few weeks. It is available as an online exclusive in my Stampin' Up! Store. As a matter of fact, you can find any of the items that I'm using today at craftyhairanddesigns.com. The sentiment comes from this, The Right Words. It's a cling stamp set. I'm using Thinking of You, and I really, really love this, set of sentiments. It really, covers a lot of options. So especially if you're just getting started, they've got a happy birthday, a thank you, thinking of you, miss you, just, a lot of really, really wonderful sentiments for things that we often need when we send cards, including sympathy cards. And so this one could be a sympathy card. It's kind of cheery, but if a loved one really loved flowers or sunflowers, I think they would really appreciate this. So that's why I went ahead into the Thinking of You. But of course, it could be for anything. It could be a happy birthday. It could be just because, lots of ways you can use this card. So let's go ahead and get started. If you purchased this, my July of 2025 card class, you will be getting a kit that looks like this. We'll have your envelope and your card base. I'm going to go ahead and share all the measurements for those of you that did not have the kit. And your kit will already have the embossing and the cutting done for you, but I'm going to show you how I got there. So the card base, this is Darling Duckling, and it is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. So it's half of a regular sheet of Designer Series paper. So I always like to go ahead and get that folded and put out of the way so that I don't accidentally get ink on it or anything when I'm getting started. This next layer is a standard second layer on our cards. It's 5 1/4 by 4, and it's basic black. I really like the yellow and black together, so that's why I decided to go with those colors. This is a part of the 6x6 in color. It's the 25-27 in color set. And as you can see, that's the other side. So the in colors, they're really beautiful. I chose this because it's a sunflower, and so many traditional sunflowers are yellow, and it's a pretty traditional card, the yellow and black. But the other colors in this pack are, besides the Darling Duckling, we've got Timid Tiger, Strawberry Slush. That could be really pretty too. And as you can see, I think I've already used all of those. Cloud Cover, Secret Sea, there's the Darling Duckling, and more of the other colors. So this is the side that I chose because it's just kind of neutral in a way. I feel that it lets the Sunflower Embossing Folder shine as the star of the show, which was my goal for this card. And then you just need a little scrap for our sentiment. I'm going to cut the sentiment out with the Everyday Arches dies. I tried to resist these for a long time. They've actually been out since, I guess, the beginning of the year. But they really are really versatile. I've used them for a lot of different things. As a matter of fact, I've got several videos coming out this month that do use these Everyday Arches dies. They were unavailable for a while because they were so popular. And actually, I wasn't crazy about the stamp set that came with them. So that was kind of why I hesitated. But then I just decided I still love the dies. I mean, I don't you know, it's like, oh, you get 10% off with the stamp set, but I decided to get the dies anyway, and it did not get it as a bundle. So keep that in mind. I mean, I almost missed them just because I was kind of thinking I should be so thrifty, right? Well, you know, thrifty is good, but don't miss out on something that you really love. Okay, so I'm going to emboss this whole piece of paper. And it doesn't really matter where you put it. I want the main flower to be in this kind of corner, but it really doesn't matter because this one is beautiful too. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll switch it up. Maybe I'll put it up higher. I do, when you're using embossing folders, can you see how there's that line there where nothing will be embossed? Just don't go above that line because then you'll miss out on some of the wonderfulness that is the embossing. So I put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is a 3D embossing folder. It means it's a little bit thicker than the standard embossing folders. And our die cutting machine does tell you which sandwich to use. So if you look down here, it says insert embossing folders hinge first. And then with the 3D embossing folders, you use plates 1 and 4. So there's the base plate 1, the Sunflower 3D embossing folder, and I go ahead and put that right on there so that I remember that it's a 3D. It's pretty, I mean, they're thick. I think it's pretty evident, but it never hurts to have that little reminder. And I'm just gonna run that through. And that's it. I'm telling you, this card comes together very quickly. We will do a little more die cutting, but I wanted to show this part to you first. So now I'll bring in my trimmer. So I've gone ahead and die cut, or excuse me, embossed it. As you can see, it's really pretty. The embossing really shows up with that background, and how easy, no ink, nothing, just very straightforward. So I need 3 pieces out of this. And so the way this happened is I just happened to cut it first. And I cut 3 3/4. And so the piece, the layer that I need is 3 3/4 by 5. So I just happened to cut the 3 3/4 first. And again, I kind of want that to be the focal point. Get that embossing blade out of the way and just cut it. And then I thought, oh, what can I do with that? Perfect for the envelope. So we're going to use this piece, which is 6 by 2 1/4, to put on the flap of our envelope. And look at how pretty that is. So then, of course, I cut this 5 inches. And then I had this pretty little piece left over. Didn't want it to go to waste, so we're going to put it on the inside. So the last thing you'll need is you'll also need a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4. So let me grab that. All right. So we're going to do a little stamping, one more die cut, and then we are good to go. So I don't know what I did with my stamp here. Let's get that out. I haven't mounted it yet. Nope, there it is. Thinking of you. I need a bigger block. Well, that's okay. We'll do that on the diagonal. Not sometimes. I like to put my sentiments on the diagonal so that I don't, because if it's a little bit off, I end up trying to line up this edge of the block first. And if I put it on the diagonal, I'm really only concentrating on the stamp. Now, because we are die cutting this one, it's not such a big issue because if it's crooked on the paper, I'm going to die cut it anyway, so it won't matter. That was Memento black ink. Thinking of you. Set it aside and bring in the cutting machine again. And of course, this time I need plates number 1 and 2 plus 1 cutting plate and the die. And it's a little tight, but it works. I like it because it's a little bit on the small side. And you could certainly put a little piece of tape over that if you feel like you want to make sure that it's straight. I think I want it up a little higher. But I think I'm going to be okay. Put that other cutting plate on top and run it through. There we go. And now we're just going to assemble the card. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Designer Series paper that has been embossed on the black layer. You could certainly use the other side if you'd like, but I feel like it kind of distracts. You don't really notice the embossing as much. So I like this kind of mottled look. And certainly you can create your own background paper. Right? You could just use some blending brushes and create a background and use that. But how simple is this, right? So before we put this on the back of the card, I am going to attach the ribbon. So this is the black and white, or I guess it's black and very vanilla checked ribbon. It's on the last chance list. So if you don't have it, I would grab it. I use this a lot. And we've had the thinner one and a thicker one over the years, but I really, really like the black and the check. I think it's such a classic. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this around the back. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna attach a little, actually what I wanna use is tear and tape. I'll put a little tear and tape there. Glue dots work as well. But I'm kind of trying to keep this somewhat thin so that it's easy to mail. So I don't really have a lot of dimensionals, only on the sentiment. And so glue dots do add a little more dimension. Not much, that's for sure, but. And I just want this to be right, kind of just cutting it in thirds, I guess. There we go. So that just goes around the back. And then I can go ahead and add this. Put a little more glue there. Add that to the front of the card. See how easily this comes together? I just love it. All right, and then now I have my Thinking of You, which will go on dimensionals, but first, ooh, I'm low, look at that. I'm at the end of my ribbon. All right. So, fortunately, I do have enough. So you could bring it around and tie it like this. Let's try that, see how we like that. I usually just kind of make my bow separately and attach it. I'm going to try and do it this way. But I want to make sure that that is tight. Come around that way. I was a Girl Scout and we learned the square knot. Right over left, left over right, and through. So it always runs through my head when I am making a bow. Right over left, or a knot, left over right, and through. It's funny how some of those things from our childhood just really stick with us, right? Hopefully they're good things, good messages, not those nasty messages that sometimes we tell ourselves, right? Keep only the good ones and throw away the others. There we go. I like the way that turned out. Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to have that anchoring spot there, and I could still move it if I decide I want to put my, once I decide kind of where I want to put this, right? I can slide that one way or the other. I like it there. Okay, so I think I'm going to move that over a little bit. I'm going to wait to cut off the ends until I get the sentiment where I want it. Okay, and I am gonna go ahead and put a glue dot under that guy. I do want that over there. Let's see. I turn it more like that. There we go. All right, so my thinking of you, I am, as I said, I'm gonna put it on dimensionals, but I don't want the dimensionals to only hit the ribbon. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that my dimensionals are on the edges. Now you could either do it with just like I'm doing here, or you could use a strip, you know, if you use the end of your, like I could have used that, that maybe would have been good, but I think this is gonna be okay. And I do wanna slip a glue dot under there, just to hold it where I want it. We've got some embellishment, and we're gonna do the inside. There we go. And then, if you only put the dimensionals in the middle, what happens is it tends to rock. So putting the dimensionals on the sides really helps. All right, I do have ribbon scissors that I find work best when trimming my ribbons. I want it that way, or do I want it that way? I think I want it that way. That way. There. Cute. Okay, and then the embellishments, I just wanted to add just a little something. So I am going to have these. These are the these are neutral matte dots, and they're black, pecan pie, basic beige, and white. And I've used up all of the black in the last package, so I've got a brand new package here that I'm going to open up and use. So let's see. I'm just kind of randomly putting them over here, and I'm gonna just, I want one kind of on this side. So you know, you want to use 3. Just from a design perspective, it helps the eye travel through the space. So that's why I've got the 1, 2, 3. And now we'll do the inside. This is very straightforward. Since it's a thank you, I am not gonna put a sentiment on it. Let's go ahead and put this down. But you can, you know, if you use a different sentiment, obviously you wanna put that down. I'm usually thinking of you. I'll kind of just use the inside to write my message myself. And then I'm gonna take this. But I would just say, if you're gonna write in a sentiment or stamp a sentiment, go ahead and do it before you attach the inside, so that if you make a little mistake, you can turn the paper over and use it. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the last piece of the designer series paper on the envelope. Remember, we used the 6x6 paper, and that way we used every last bit of it. So this piece actually ends up being 6 inches by 2 1/4 inches. A great way to decorate your envelopes, even if you're not, you know, don't happen to be using the 6x6 designer series paper. You can always cut off a piece of DSP. Don't hoard it. Use your designer series paper. Use that beautiful paper. Let your recipient get a little sneak peek of the goodness that's gonna be in the card. And then, you know, I don't know if our postal workers actually notice the mail that they're delivering. They probably tune it out after a while, as most of us do with things that are repetitive, but it could bring a smile to their face. And you know, when I make mistakes on my envelopes or on my cards, especially my envelopes, I'll go ahead and use them to send, you know, to return bills. I do most of my bill pay online, but you know, sometimes you have to send something local, and I feel like it'll bring a little smile to someone's face to do it that way. So don't throw out those envelopes if you made a little mistake on them. Go ahead and fix it up a little bit and send it to someone. So there you go. There's our nice, simple, quick and easy thinking of you card that you could use any designer series paper, any embossing folder and have something quick and easy to send to someone special. Thanks for joining me today. Again, my name is Linda Edwards, and I do create these videos. I try to put them out about, a couple times a month. And if you want to be notified of my future videos, go ahead and subscribe. You can find that subscribe button in the YouTube description. If you'd like to be notified of local classes or tutorials that I've got available for sale, sign up for my newsletter. That link is also in the video description. I'd love to have you join me. I do regular newsletters about once a week, and only more often if there's something special going on with Stampin' Up. But try to keep you informed of what Stampin' Up has available for us, and I have tips and tricks in the newsletter and inspiration. I try to have a card, some kind of inspiration in every newsletter for you, so that it's worth your time. So if you made it all the way to the end here, I really appreciate it, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Bye for now.